In today's episode, we're going to talk to Renaye Thornborrow about how to build a successful business as a life coach, how to position yourself, how to generate leads, how to get new clients so that you can turn your passion into a full-time profession. If you want to build a legitimate, profitable online business without shiny objects, without the hypey gimmicks, and without the stress and overwhelm, if you want to make more money without having to be present online all day, every day, pumping out content that nobody sees and hustling DMs to generate leads and sales, then this is the place for you. Welcome to the Digital Trailblazer podcast, your online business university, where you'll learn how ordinary people start from ground zero with no influence, no email list or audience to sell to, and no business or marketing experience, and go from working 9-to-5 jobs to building successful 6- and 7-figure online businesses and all the steps in between. Learn the strategies that worked and what didn't. Learn the mistakes that they made and how to avoid them, and then learn their plans for scaling their businesses and taking things to the next level. All so that you can build your business faster and easier and make more money without sacrificing the things that are important to you in your life. I'm your host, Leah Ray Getz, and with me is my husband, Todd. Now, let's get to it with today's guest. Welcome, Renaye. We are excited to have you with us. This will be a great conversation. So just to give a little context before you get into sort of the business building and all of that kind of stuff, can you tell the audience a little bit more about yourself and the kind of business that you run?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here today. Since 2013, I've been leading a worldwide mission to bring life coaching and mindset skills training to kids. And we do this by training coaches to use our story-based coaching curriculum to help children develop the mindset and skill set to proactively build their confidence and self-esteem, to navigate the ups and downs of growing up, to learn how to set and achieve their goals, and so much more so they can be who they're meant to be in the world. And we help them have their own successful coaching business doing this.
So life coaching for kids, it's funny that you bring this up because I remember when you contacted us about being on the podcast, it was literally that day that I was doing a Google search for life coaching for kids because it's something that we wanted for our own kids, the mindset and dealing with different situations at school and things like that. And so it was really funny that came up right at that time. How did you get into this in the first place? Because when I did that Google search, I found like almost nothing. How did you even get into this?
Yeah, well, my inspiration really was when I had my own children, but the seed was planted many years before that when I first discovered the world of personal development right out of college. And I remember thinking to myself, why didn't I learn this when I was a kid? It made no sense to me that the personal development world and then later the life coaching world focuses on grown-ups, where those core thoughts and beliefs that shape who we are and what we think is possible for ourselves are formed when we're really young. And I knew that whenever I had children, I would want them to learn this powerful way of thinking. And through the years, I became an expert in personal development. I used my skills to create a very successful corporate career, a happy, fulfilling marriage and relationships. And then 22 years ago, I did become a mother of twins. And when they were about 4 or 5, I started looking for some resources to help teach them about the power of their mind. And I couldn't find anything out there. There are a few things on how to get my kids to behave, a few things on character development, but nothing on mindset, really teaching them how to use the power of their thoughts and the power of their mind to be self-leaders, to build their confidence and their self-esteem, to learn to set and achieve their goals. And so, sometimes I was working with my kids and it felt maybe a little lecture or boring. I didn't want my kids rolling their eyes every time I opened my mouth. So I started writing stories. And Todd, that's when the magic happened because they not only loved the stories, they were learning the concepts. And from there, my vision for this just really grew. I wanted to bring it to other children as well. And that really was a seed and what started this whole thing. And, here we are. More than a decade later, just with coaches in over 30 countries, making a big impact with children and families around the world.
Yeah, so that concept of teaching through stories, I remember when you explained this to me, why you did it. And maybe you can elaborate upon what I'm saying. But if I understand it right, it's because with normal life coaching, like you're talking to an adult that has life experience and they have better rationalizing skills and they can use logic and things like that. Whereas kids typically don't. Is that right? Or how is it different from normal life coaching with adults?
Coaching kids is very different from coaching adults. And the reason is brain development. And like you were saying, life experience as well. With grownups, the frontal lobes of our brain where critical reasoning skills happen are fully developed. It's one of the reasons why most coaching for adult certification programs will focus on questions as being the most powerful tool that we use in our work with our adult clients. children's brains are different. Their frontal lobes are not fully developed. And so we need to use a different approach. We need to add a teaching component to our coaching to help illustrate how these mindset skills are used so that kids can see them in action. And then with a coach, that's when they use their deep listening skills and questioning skills to support the children in applying these skills to their own lives. And our stories are all written in a fable format. So it enables children to be able to see how these mindset skills are working, how they might impact them, whether it's at school or with their friends or extracurricular activities or even family relationships, and then supporting them in applying these skills to their own lives so that true transformation can occur. So it's, story, discussion questions, multi-sensory activities, really creating an experience for children to learn these skills.
I think with what you're doing, just from a marketing perspective, because I know that we work with a lot of life coaches, we work with a lot of mindset coaches, things where we would kind of describe it as soft skills, right? Where if we were to get a testimonial from them or something like that, or if they were to get testimonials from the clients, like there's not like a solid metric where we can say, okay, they lost 40 pounds, or, they were able to generate the first 6 figures in their business or something like that. When you're a life coach, it's hard to get testimonials like that because you're not really dealing with, weight or things that are just solid numbers. And the thing is that there's a lot of life coaches out there. There's a lot of mindset coaches out there. There's a lot of people who are dealing with these soft skill type of coaching programs, and they're very difficult to market. And one of the reasons why is because they have trouble differentiating themselves from other life coaches and other mindset coaches and things like that. And one of the ways that we teach people to differentiate themselves is by kind of niching down, right? Finding a specific goal that you help people to achieve, working with a specific type of client. And I think that's something that you've really done well here. And that's one of the reasons why you have such a successful business. But from what we were talking about, you teach your coaches to niche down even further. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes. So we're all about life coaching for kids. Our primary focus is between the ages of 6 through 12, 13, 14-ish or so. So we want to reach children in elementary, middle school. But even within the life coaching for kids niche, there's a lot of other niches that are available there. Whether some of our coaches work with children, maybe they want to do coaching for girls or coaching for boys or coaching children who are in athletic programs. So the mindset is just as important as skill set when it comes to being successful on a baseball field or the basketball court. Some of our coaches specialize in working with children with certain challenges, like it could be ADHD, learning differences. We had a coach that focused on working with children who were dealing with grief. What a powerful niche to have. And when the child is really in crisis, to be able to support them in that. So yes, even within life coaching for kids, we have multiple opportunities there as well. It's really for our coaches. It's about creating a business that gets them excited to jump out of bed every morning, ready to serve children. It's about building a business that they love.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you're able to niche down like that, does the pricing for your services change, or are you still charging the same price as you would for just a typical population?
What's really interesting about our program, so our curriculum is very unique. We teach 27 different mindset skills to children using a story process. So we have different skill books to cover different skills. So 27 different skills. Each one of these skills books has a mentor's guide with background information and coaching tips for the coach, children's guide where you have the coaching story, discussion questions, and the activities. And so we have all 27 of those there. And so our coaches are being licensed to be able to use this curriculum in their own business. And then they kind of mix and match the service, the skills based on what it is that they're wanting to serve. So for our coaches, we have a core service, licensing of our program and use of our program. And another thing that makes us unique is we not only support our coaches in being successful on the coaching side with this coaching curriculum, we also support them on the business side. So helping them learn about that we have business, marketing, coaching tools, business training, community and support, because a lot of the coaches who come in haven't had a business before. So they don't know where to start. They don't know how to get clients. They don't know how to sell without being salesy. And they, just it terrifies them. So we support them on that side too. So we have 3 different packages that our coaches can come in at. And then it's up to them as far as once they've created their own business and they're niching down to price and package their services as well. And we certainly give them guidelines so they can think about how to package and price their services, but it's ultimately up to them.
And with your new coaches that are coming in, for example, somebody who wants to work specifically with kids, like what makes a good life coach? Like, do you see them having a typical type of background, or what is it that you look for that you can see that, hey, this person has got a good chance of being successful?
Our coaches self-select in. They have three things in common. They absolutely love children. Working with children, it's like in their bones. They have a natural connection with children. It's something that's very fulfilling for them. They love personal development work. A lot of us have the same books on our bookshelves, and they see working with children as helping them fulfill their purpose. So that's kind of the three core things that all of our coaches are going to have in common. And then we tend to find them coming from several different kind of market segments. We have educators who come in, they're wanting to help develop the whole child. So beyond academics, so that they have the social emotional learning to be able to really navigate life beyond the classroom and even in the classroom. Then we have our people who are already working with children in other capacities. It could be sports coaches, extracurricular teachers, scouts, volunteers, medical professions. And they're just wanting to add on services to whatever it is that they're doing. And mindset skills too, as I mentioned earlier, it enhances all areas of what they do. Then we have life coaches for adults, of course, and they're wanting to expand their business to be able to reach children when they're younger. I hear it all the time from coaches who work with adults that they see these limiting beliefs that were formed in childhood that have impacted this adult their entire life and has held them back in life. And I think as Frederick Douglass said something about, it's easier to build a strong child than to fix broken men. And I've seen that exact quote multiple times on applications coming in from life coaches for adults. And then, of course, we have parents and grandparents, people who want to support the children in their own lives. And then from there, their vision grows and they want to support other children as well. And we even have counselors, therapists, and social workers who are wanting to work more on that prevention side and help children proactively develop these mindset skills to navigate life and build those resilience and coping skills too.
So as far as pricing goes, I know that a lot of times when we work with a new client, like one of the first things we look at is their pricing and how they're packaging their services. And a lot of times what happens, especially if they're like in the fitness niche, but even when they're doing mindset and life coaching, a lot of times they're just charging by the hour, right? And they've got a low hourly rate, might be $50 an hour, $100 an hour. And it's just one session at a time. And I know that the advice that we typically give is, hey, we want to productize this. We want to, have a clear outcome that we're shooting for. And if that outcome takes 3 months to achieve, then put it into a 3-month package and sell that. Don't just sell it one session at a time. With your coaches, what is it that you teach them to do as far as pricing?
One of the tools they get is something we call coaching package templates. So yes, we have the 27 skills. That's the whole journey, the whole wisdom journey. But that's a lot for parents to try to wrap their head around. So we have coaching package templates that break this down into bite-sized chunks that's really understandable for parents so they understand what the transformation is. So building confidence, building soaring self-esteem, resilience and coping skills, developing self-leadership skills, learning how to set and achieve their goals, managing peer pressure. So each one of those could have anywhere from like 5 to 7, 8, or 9 skill books, kind of depending on how the coach structures it. Now, we give them packages with a recommendation, but our coach, it's ultimately up to them if they want to add or take away skill books to that. Then we teach them about how to talk about that package. We actually give them specific messaging that they can use, not only to talk about the high level of the package, but each one of the skill books and the transformation that occurs with each one of those lessons. And we give them guidelines too on how to price it, whether they're working with a client one-on-one, small group pricing, or even workshop pricing. So we do a lot. We probably have about 3 different training modules around pricing. In fact, and one of them is about mindset around pricing, because a lot of people are scared to death to put a number on something. So we work with them on a lot of mindset for pricing, entrepreneurship, and how to have enrollment conversations as well.
Now, as far as presenting the price, like when you're having consultation with a potential client and you get to that point where you're about to present the price, do you teach them to just, based on what the client was saying, do you teach them to just present one option and one price, or do you teach them to give them all the options up front and say, here's everything that you could do, and here's all the prices for everything?
Yeah. So if you give too much, it can be overwhelming. So it kind of depends on how the conversation goes, but usually it's good to give them a couple of different things to choose from, but I wouldn't give them too many at once. And it really is up to our coaches as far as how they structure it and what they show. But it's kind of like the getting started sort of package and then a little bit deeper package. One of the advantages of showing 2 packages, a shorter package and a longer package, someone might see that longer package, but they can afford the shorter package, but it creates this gap of what they're really wanting in the longer package. That just gives you the opportunity for upsell later. Of course, they get a better deal if they go with the bigger package at that time.
Okay, so I see what you did. So you present the two kind of like as a price conditioning thing, where it's like, hey, here's the ultimate package, right? Here's the one that you could go, but based on what you told me and where you're at with everything, I think this might be more reasonable for you. And as far as pricing wise goes, when they see that first one, it kind of gets them over that sticker shock of how much it would cost, and then when they see the one that you actually recommend, it psychologically it's much easier for them to accept. Is that right?
That's one strategy, right? I mean, our coaches do different things. We don't prescribe how to do it, but we give them options on how they can think about it and what they're comfortable with as well. And, one of the things we do, Todd and Leah, is that, we have the 27 skills. So we have a list of the 27 skills. And so when a coach is sharing with a parent and they're showing a package, they'll take that list of 27 and they might circle the 6 that child is going to get. So what do you think the parent is seeing when they see that list? They're seeing all the ones that their child's not getting. It's like, so this might be focusing on confidence, but then they see all these ones on, well, I want my child to know how to navigate change. I want my child to know how to overcome a mistake. I want to know them how to break through fear. I want them to choose integrity in their lives. I want them to, you see that gap. So it really is a great way to show parents how we can support their child and give so to just get started and make sure their child's going to resonate with this and true change is happening.
Yeah. When you explain that to me and circling the different things, I can just see when I'm looking at subscribing to a new software or service or whatever, and they've got the comparison, and it's like, okay, I get most of what I want in this basic level, but then there's always that one feature or two features in the pro level that's like, I need that. And so, obviously you get the one that has everything that you want. But yeah, I love that, what you're doing there. So many times we have clients come in and even just helping them to present the price in a way that, because here's the thing, a lot of times they'll present all of the options. And inevitably, the way the human mind works, we want to go in with the least resistance possible, right? So if it's like, if I can just try this for a little bit and see if I get a result, let me go in at this lowest possible investment, right? And the thing is, like, when you do that, not only are you kind of selling yourself short, but you're letting the client sell themselves short as well. Because if you know that it's going to take them 3 months to really get to where they want to go, why would you sell them anything less, right?
Well, you don't ever want to put a package together that's not going to help get that transformation.
Yeah.
So, for example, if we're talking about confidence, that's going to be a minimum of the 5 sessions in order to start from that. We would not recommend to a coach, well, if you're not so sure, just do 1 or 2 sessions. You're not going to create transformation that way, which is what parents really are looking for. That being said, it's not uncommon for our coaches to help create transformation of a child within 1 to 2 sessions, but that's the start of the journey. And there's more that gets to happen as you're building our children are building those neural pathways for change and a new way of thinking as well. Yeah, you don't ever want to create a package that's not going to deliver the transformation, because that's harming the client and that's harming you too and your reputation.
Now, as far as helping your coaches to get clients, like, this is one of the things that so many times when people start an online business or any type of business, a lot of times they think that creating the offer is the hard part. And so a lot of times we'll have coaches or course creators come in and they spend all this time, coming up with a perfect logo and branding and a website, and then they work on the offer, and they have these professionally produced videos and perfectly scripted everything, and then they quote launch, right? And they've put no effort into marketing or audience building or anything, and they thought that the hard part was creating the offer, but now they're figuring out that the hard part is actually selling it, right? And here it is again with life coaches, mindset coaches, people with these soft skills that they're marketing. It can be really difficult to get clients for something like that, especially if you haven't niched down. What is it that you're teaching your coaches to do to get their first handful of clients?
Absolutely. In fact, it's something we emphasize in our business accelerator curriculum. So it's life coaching for kids is a know, like, and trust business. Parents want to know, like, and trust someone who's going to be working with their children, or they want to know, like, and trust somebody who know, likes, and trusts you. So that is fundamental part of the business. So we teach our coaches. We have 2 different training modules. One is on networking. So reaching out to the personal network, because that is know, like, and trust, is building relationships. And we actually give them templates, email templates they can use for part of their outreach and have follow-up phone calls and start building those relationships. And then the other one is how to grow your business with referrals, because those are the two most powerful ways to grow any business, or any coaching business, not just life coaching for kids. And the beautiful thing about it is it doesn't cost any additional money. It really is an investment in time and conversations and connecting with people and building those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And then with those first couple clients, are they charging full price for that? Or do you tell them that maybe they can provide their services for free in order to maybe get a good review or a testimonial or something?
Yeah, so we do train about how to use launch pricing if you're brand new at this. Now, some of our coaches have an existing business and clientele, so they may not need to use launch pricing. Other coaches, they find this to be a strategy that really supports them in having those conversations. I highly recommend against free, because someone who is engaged in your program for free is going to be of a very different mindset than someone who has invested at least something in your program in order, to get that transformation. But if there was part of the launch pricing strategy, we do want something in return. Number one is we message that it's only for like the first 5 people. You always want to message that this is the launch price and this is what full price is going to be. So it shows the value and it shows the delta. So people know if they don't come in now, what the price is going to be later. Then we message you want to get feedback from them, and also be upfront, let them know you want testimonials and referrals, as long as they're happy, which is one of the reasons why you're getting feedback along the way. So there's more skin in the game. They're getting a discount, but you're also getting more in return to support you in your marketing on both that networking and referral side as well.
Yeah. I love it that you spell that out so plainly, because I know a lot of times when we're helping clients with webinars and things like that, and we're specifically working on presenting your offer, and especially if it's early bird pricing for something that they're doing, a lot of times they're not spelling out like, hey, this is what's going to happen if you don't take advantage now, right? And all of that scarcity and urgency that they could be building into it, they're kind of wasting, right? And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll have a price on there, and on the screen, there won't be anything else, but they'll say something like, and the price is going to go up later. And that's as specific as they get. And it's like, no. Cross it out. Like, have the full price on there, cross it out so they know what they're missing out on, and then put a countdown timer or a date. And so I love that you spelled it out for them, because it's so important. A lot of people don't realize all these things and it seems like small things, but they have such a big effect on being able to get those first couple of clients. Now, moving forward, after you've got those first couple of clients, you've got some good testimonials. What is it that you're teaching your coaches to do to build a business from there? Are they doing it mostly offline, or are they going online and doing online marketing? How are they building their business?
I would say our most successful coaches, it's all about offline. It's all about conversations, networking, communications, building those relationships, and referrals. That being said, a lot of our coaches do coach online, and they can get referrals from other people from all around the world. I mean, it's one of the beautiful things about coaching children online is you can coach children in the middle of the day in the United States when kids might be at school. Of course, there's the whole homeschool market too that works really well if you want to coach in person.
Gotcha. Okay. Our area of expertise, and this is what we really love doing, is the online marketing portion. What is it that you're teaching your coaches to do to get clients online? Are they hustling social media? Do they build a website? Do they create a funnel of some sort? What are they doing to get started online?
We have coaches that are doing different things. Some of our most successful coaches don't have a website, and then some of them do. It's up to whether or not they want to have that presence. Some just have like a Facebook business page, just to have some sort of online presence. We're not teaching them how to go out and do like Facebook ads and Google and all that, because that just doesn't work. I mean, would you hire a coach based on a Facebook ad to work directly with your child? Probably not. I mean, it's probably through a referral, through a relationship. Now, what they can do and what we recommend is be in parenting groups, be an advisor. Don't be there, marketing your services, but just be there in support of the community. And people will start to notice that you know your stuff. And they'll say, hey, what is it that you do? And it's really all about building those relationships.
I would actually disagree with you about the Facebook ads, because I've seen it work. But it combines what you're talking about, because you're right. If you run an ad directly for an offer of, hey, life coaching for your kid, $500 or whatever, sign up here. You're right. That's absolutely not going to work, especially if you're brand new, right? And getting started with ads. It's all about using the ads to build your own community. So rather than go to somebody else's Facebook group, you would run an ad that would maybe give away a free PDF guide or something like that, get them on your email list, and then get them into your own Facebook community, and then you're building that. And then that way
That would work. That would work for sure. Yes.
yeah. So it's a very different strategy, because I know that there's a lot of ads agencies out there that will do exactly what you said, is that they'll say, hey, you could get clients just by us running ads, and we'll run it to your landing page and blah, blah, blah. We've had clients that they had previously paid $20,000, $30,000 for an ad agency to do this for them, and they came away with nothing. And it's like, yeah, it's because, they were probably successful doing this for a local business, like a lawyer or a dentist or something. And yeah, it can work for them. But when you're running an online business, especially something like life coaching, that's absolutely not going to work. And so, yeah, unfortunately, people waste a lot of money with ad strategies like that, because coaching businesses are very different from local businesses. And, the way that you run them, the way that you advertise for them, the way that you market them is very different. And so that's why I love, like, everything that you're doing here. I think it just falls so much in line with everything that I know that we teach our clients. So when you're building your business online, it's still very relational, right? From what I understand of what you're teaching, you're still building that know, like, and trust factor. So are you networking with people as well, as in like sending friend requests and getting them on your friends list and things like that? Or is it just going in groups and providing advice?
Well, for our coaches, they work in person with children. For some, that's just what they want to do. They want to be in their own communities, and some do online and some do a hybrid. If we're talking the online side of it, it's more about just building those relationships. It's referrals. It's in groups. Some of our coaches do have their own Facebook groups. They're just doing a variety of things. Yeah. Yeah. We're careful about the whole, Facebook ad thing, because I've seen some of our coaches try it and lose a lot of money, kind of like what you were just talking about. And I mean, the most effective way to get clients is through networking, starting with your personal network, the outreach, referrals from there, get some successes, and build and grow from there.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that the decision to hire a coach isn't just a one-time decision or just one decision. It's a series of decisions that have to be made by the client in order to get to a point where they're willing to buy and join. And that's, like you said, that's why those ads where it's just directly pitching your offer, that's why they don't work. And that's why a lot of people lose a lot of money with them, unfortunately. So with the people that you're helping to build these coaching programs, are they typically people who are doing this full-time, or are they doing it part-time as well?
And our coaches are doing a variety of things. I would say that most of our coaches will come in as this as being a part-time business. They just want to supplement their income. And then for others, it's like they see this possibility and they shift it into a full-time career. And then some just come straight in wanting it to be full-time. It really depends on what their goals are. We've had people shift out of the education space, working part-time, growing it into a full-time practice, and really increasing their income from there. And then others, they just want to make some supplemental income on the weekend. So it really does. It's all about creating business that works for them in their life. There's not a right or wrong way to do it.
I know that we can build this online, so I'm assuming that we can do this coaching through Zoom calls and things like that. With your local clients, is that something that you can do mostly through Zoom calls and things like that too? Or are you always meeting in person?
Well, a lot of our coaches, I mean, they love the high fives and hugs, right? They want to be there with the kids, and the kids do too. If you think about it, our children are spending a lot of time online already. And even though we have a very engaging program and it does work online, there's just something magical about being in person with a child, doing an art project with them, watching those light bulb moments as they are discovering the power of their mind. They can choose how they think about a certain situation and completely transform how they think about something. A lot of our coaches, they love to work with kids in person, but it really is up to them as far as how they most like to work with kids.
Is it typically just one-on-one, or is it a lot of group coaching? How are they typically structuring? I know that you mentioned they could do anything, but do you find that most of your coaches are gravitating more towards a group coaching or one-on-one, or how are they doing these things?
It really depends on how they most like working with children. We find that a lot of our educators really like to do workshops in small groups. Yeah, they're used to working with a lot of children, having that dynamic. A lot of our life coaches, parents, they tend to like more of a one-on-one. That being said, we have people doing a variety of things. And one of the beautiful things about workshops is that it's a great way to help build awareness about what life coaching for kids is, what this is all about, and help them fill their small group and their one-on-one coaching practices as well. So we have a lot of coaches that do all three in order to help fill their one-on-one coaching practice and just to reach kids in a different way. Because, as a workshop, that's more of a training, right? And then the smaller the group, the more intimate the conversation, the more you're able to really support the child and whatever they might be dealing with directly in their life. And of course, one-on-one, that's where all of them transformation can occur, but one-on-one is where really big results can occur quickly.
Yeah. It's nice to have a lot of options like that where you can be super flexible, especially if you're starting out with this part-time. I think that it really gives you an advantage there of being able to make that transition. So I know with you and your business, I mean, you started out with life coaching your own kids, and then you built this business to where now you're helping other people to become life coaches. What do you feel like is next for you? Because you've built a pretty successful business. How do you scale from where you are?
Yes, my goodness. We've been doing this for, over a decade now. And I tell you, Todd and Leah, whenever I go to a conference, I talk about helping people become a life coach for kids. I still have people say, life coaching for kids? What's that? I didn't know it was a thing. And then share about what it is. And it's just jaw dropping for them. And it's one of the reasons why what we're really doing is working on building awareness about what life coaching for kids is all about so that parents really understand it and understand that this is an option for their kids. In fact, just a couple of months ago, I wrote this book. You can see it right here. It's a parent's guide to life coaching for kids, and it's when to add a coach to your parenting team. So it really helps them just understand what it is. So our next big step is building awareness, because that will help parents understand what this is all about, how coaching is different from counseling, how it supports them in their parenting. And we have a checklist on when they might want to add a coach to their parenting team. And that's going to help us bring more business to our coaches. It's also going to help more people who might want to become a coach. And ultimately, it's going to help us reach more children, which is what this work is all about. It's really about creating transformation in children's lives and having that ripple effect throughout the world so that we get to have a better world.
Now, I know that we personally work with a lot of life coaches and mindset coaches and things like that. And I'm sure there's a lot listening right now. If there's one piece of advice you could give them, if they're struggling to get clients, if they're struggling to build their business, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them to help them out right now?
Well, for one, figure out who it is that you really want to serve. Who is your ideal client? Who do you most like to work with? And because that's going to really help you focus your messaging and structure your offer in a way that you can show you get transformation for that particular client. And then it's all about really opening your mouth and having these conversations and letting people know what you do. And it's one of the reasons why for our coaches, we give them specific messaging so they know exactly how to talk about what they do. And we train them on how to have enrollment conversations with parents. So it feels like a conversation. It doesn't feel icky and salesy and slimy. It's just a conversation to see if they're the right fit for working with that parent's child. So it really is about learning how to say what you do. Well, one, picking your niche, your ideal client, who you want to work with, saying what you do, messaging that very powerfully, and then having those conversations and learning how to have enrollment conversations in a way that feels really comfortable to you.
I love all this conversation. It's been so insightful, Renaye. If people want to learn more about you, where should they head?
We invite you to go to our website. It's adventuresinwisdom.com. The first thing we invite everyone to do is to check out a sample of our curriculum. We have a free coaching story there on the website. You can sign up, download it today. You have story time tonight, and you can start supporting a child in developing one of these mindset skills. And if you're interested in maybe exploring becoming a coach, adding this niche to the work that you might already be doing, we have a tab there that says Be a Coach. If you're a parent, maybe you're interested in exploring having a coach work with your child, we have a tab there that says For Parents, and you can learn more information there. So adventuresinwisdom.com, get that free coaching story, and then take the next step based on what your interest is.
Awesome, Renaye. We really appreciate you. Thank you for being with us today.
All right. Thanks for having me, and venture well.
You've been listening to the Digital Trailblazer podcast. For show notes and information about today's guest, head to digitaltrailblazer.com. Now, if you love this episode, if you got some value, make sure you leave us a review and subscribe. And be sure to share this episode with anyone you know who could use help to build their business. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.